Hi, everybody. I'm Brittany Lewis, a breaking news reporter here at Forbes. Joining me now is my Forbes colleague, staff writer Zach Everson. Zach, thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me on again, Brittany.
You have an interesting piece on President-elect Donald Trump. You're saying that his business hired more foreign workers than ever in 2024. So let's set the scene. Let's maybe take a stroll down memory lane, perhaps. How is this at odds with his past policy, his past sentiment, and past statements about foreign workers?
Sure. So Donald Trump, of course, has made many derogatory statements about foreigners coming to this country. You know, they're not sending us their best. I won't repeat some of the more offensive statement parts of it, though. But his businesses have long relied on short-term foreign workers to come in and staff them, notably his golf club, two of his golf clubs in Florida, his winery, and Mar-a-Lago. So here you have it where he's saying, you know, we want jobs in the United States should be for Americans, and foreigners are not, who are coming to this country are not the best, and yet he is relying on those people to staff his clubs. Now, the one thing that is different, though, is he does frequently point out, go after illegal immigrants. And these are people, though, the ones that he are hiring are coming here legally. So there is one difference there. But overall, you know, his reliance on foreign workers is at odds with a lot of his rhetoric.
Let's talk about that because he's run for president 3 times now. And all 3 of those times, being America first in every sense of the phrase has really been at the forefront of his campaign. So why is his organization choosing to hire foreign workers opposed to those local to his properties that are American citizens?
So the U.S. government allows companies to do this if they can show that they're not able to hire American workers to do it, which is the claims that the Trump organization has been making every year when they put forward these requests. And then the Department of Labor has been agreeing to their requests and the numbers of people they're looking to bring in. So, you know, it's another example of Donald Trump's, rhetoric not exactly matching up with his own business practices there, where, you know, for his business practices, he's certainly going to do what's in his best interest.
What you're saying, this is legal, but can you go over the policies retaining temporary foreign workers and what visas the Trump organization's using?
Sure. So there are 2 visas that they're using, H2A and H2B. Now, the H2A is for short-term agricultural workers. The B is for people in other positions. So the A is what they use to get some people to work at their winery in the Charlottesville, Virginia area. The B is what they use to get people to come work at Mar-a-Lago and the golf clubs, where they serve as little servers, cooks, chefs, managerial staff, things like that. So they come in. So, for example, Mar-a-Lago, they come in and work this season at Mar-a-Lago, where they'll come in the late fall and they'll stay till spring, and then the company will have to reapply to get more foreign workers the following year. And those are the numbers that we've been seeing go up just about every year.
So talk about what are those numbers? How many foreign workers did they recruit this year, and what types of jobs are they doing?
So it was 178 short-term foreign workers this year, up from 170 the year before. So they're looking for housekeepers, chefs, cooks, people to staff the front desk at Mar-a-Lago and some of these other golf clubs, some of the golf clubs, and then for the vineyard, it's people to go out there and be farm workers.
And I know that Donald Trump has specifically gone after undocumented immigrants in his rhetoric, in some of his policies, his first term. Has he ever hired or employed undocumented immigrants at the Trump properties?
Yes, according to a Washington Post article from during his first term, that they were able to find undocumented workers who would work sometimes for several years at some of his properties.
And were Trump businesses relying on foreign workers while he was president? And obviously, as you and I have discussed, this is at odds with his rhetoric. So how does he explain this?
So yes. To answer the first part of the question, he had 382 workers. His company has applied for 382 foreign workers during his first term in office. Now, obviously, keeping in mind that he kept classified documents at some of these properties even after he left the presidency, and there were short-term foreign workers there. So that is certainly a problem that you have, that these people would have access to those sort of documents. Overall, I think he's hired about 1,850 short-term foreign workers over the last 17 years, which is as far back as Department of Labor records go.
I want to talk about this, it seems like, loophole, the short-term workers, because his White House back in 2017 to 2021, they tried to prevent employers from relying on foreign workers, but it did so by targeting permanent ones, not short-term ones. Was this strategic because his businesses were relying on short-term foreign workers?
I mean, I can't speak to his motives, but he certainly is. When he's gone on some of these anti-foreign worker rants, in a couple instances, he has gone on to say, like, "Oh no, but not short-term, temporary workers. They're good. They're good." And he kind of loses the audience at that part, so it's not part of his standard spiel. But he's clearly, he knows what he needs there to run his businesses, and it's no surprise that he's, given them a carve out.
Zach, you've written about this before. Has Donald Trump himself or the Trump Organization ever commented publicly or to you about this?
I can't remember them getting back to me about this. They didn't for the article. I reached out to the Trump transition team. They referred me to the company, and the company didn't respond. But again, this report that we've got right here is that they are coming legally. It is not. They are not illegal foreign workers in this instance that we're reporting on. They're just, the business practices are at odds with his political rhetoric.
We've seen him in 2016 in the 2020 campaign and the 2024 campaign that he's vowing constantly and consistently to put American workers first. What do you think that this trend that we're seeing says about that argument?
Well, unemployment at the time in Florida, where most of these businesses was just 3%, so it wasn't too high, but there are clearly some American workers there who are not employed. And remember, the unemployment rate doesn't actually measure everybody who's not working. There's a whole bunch of ways they kind of couch that. So yeah, it's at odds with a lot of what his policies are. 1,850 workers over 17 years. Seems like that's something he might have been able to get, through looking through American workforces, if that's what they had been so inclined to do.
Zach Everson, per usual, I appreciate your reporting. Thanks so much for joining me.
My pleasure. Have a great holiday.